Hey, what's up guys? This is Ed from me. Today we're going to be talking about all the differences between the Golf R and the GTI. Both of these are Mark 7 2015 models. Today I got myself a GTI and an R to compare, so I want to tell you guys basically, what do you actually get for the R that you don't get with the GTI, and is the price difference actually going to be worth it for you? So for everybody who's on the road, most people looking at these two cars, they're essentially going to think that they're the same car. Nobody who isn't an enthusiast is going to know that there's extra horsepower in this car, extra torque, as well as a little bit of the styling aesthetic changes. So front and back, just looking at it, there's really not a big difference. The only differences that you might be able to see are the quad taillights, the quad exhaust, the 19 versus 18-inch wheels. Those are the very distinct looking GTI wheels that have been around the family for a long time. Look at these wheels, are kind of newer. But another big difference that you might be able to see in the front, the grille is obviously different. You see, the guy that I met up with from the forums, we're not really sure what the difference is, because he has a DSG as well. So people are saying that one side of this is a DSG cooler. What doesn't make sense to me is why that GTI wouldn't have it. Perhaps maybe pushing more power through the DSG, they need more cooling, and so that's why there's actually extra air ducts on the side for the R. As you can see, the headlights are essentially the same thing. So we got some differences with the headlights as well. We got the amber LEDs over here, whereas this one, filaments. Oh, it's alright, I'll come on this side. Got the filaments on this side. And then one little tiny difference, there are these three vertical LEDs, side lights, versus this one has two horizontals. And one thing I didn't notice was the LED fog lights on this GTI. They actually look really nice and they blend in well with the headlights. These accents, these GTI accent, the accent strips run into the headlights. Same thing for the R, except because the R doesn't have like a special red color, it doesn't necessarily look like it's matched to the strip. Under the hood, you're essentially going to find the same thing. We noticed a couple of differences, so I'll show you guys some of the differences. So this is, by the way, a GTI performance pack. So under the hood, the first thing that we noticed was that the wiper fluid is in a different spot. So we basically attributed that to the coolers that need to be placed down here in the ducts, thereby displacing the wiper fluid. But if you look, to the average person, this looks exactly the same. There's really not much of a difference. We were looking for all the differences that we could, but we really didn't find any. So one thing that we did notice though is that because this is a two-door model, the rear legroom is actually a little bit less. We are not really sure why, but that's just the way that it kind of ended up. It might also be the fact that he likes to sit with the seat farther back than I do. So we moved up the seat, and I think there's still a little bit of difference in legroom. Here's one thing that you get with the GTI that you don't get with the R right now, and that's this panoramic sunroof. I personally love sunroofs, and it's definitely something that I wish the R came with. Paying almost 40 grand for a car, you'd wish that it came with a sunroof, and this panoramic sunroof is definitely a nicer sunroof than many cars come with. So this has the DSG transmission in it. It's got the manual handbrake. Neither of us really think there's a need for a manual handbrake in a car like this, especially when you're not in a rear-wheel drive car trying to drift or anything. But hey, it is what it is. With the R, you get the electronic parking brake. Differences in the leather in the seats. Honestly, not enough for someone to say, wow, these are much better seats versus the other ones. The leather is a little bit different. and there's obviously, you know, the R stitching here, whereas on the GTI you don't get any GTI badging. The differences in the leather are only in the stitching, essentially. So yeah, you know what I paid for the Golf R and what he paid for this GTI was, let's see if I can calculate this correctly, about a $6,000 difference. So what do you get with the extra $6,000 that you pay for? You get the same engine that produces more power, about 70 more horsepower. Torque wise though, it's only about a 30 increase in torque. So when we're driving these two cars, the main thing that we really notice with the GTI is that going around town, it's essentially the same thing, if not better than the R, because the R has significantly more turbo lag than the GTI does. So the GTI is going to be a little bit more comfortable around town. Other than the increase in power, you're also getting the Haldex all-wheel drive system, and you know, one of the things with all-wheel drive systems is that, you know, thinking if you're not actually using them, there's really no purpose to them. Honestly, the only things that they do is take away from your fuel efficiency. So maybe in the winter time, on those days where, you know, you're going out into the snow, the all-wheel drive system might make a difference. But for the most part, the GTI is going to be able to do just fine. What's nice about this performance pack is that you essentially get the same brakes as the R. So on that, they're exactly the same thing. You'll get a limited slip differential in the GTI with the performance pack, and I think that's definitely something that you should get. But kind of the conclusions that we both came to is that if you're going to be getting a GTI and it's going to be fully loaded, maybe the Autobahn performance package, everything, it's going to put the price difference not that big between the GTI and the R. It's only going to be about, I'd say, a 4 or 5 grand difference, because right now his GTI doesn't have the dynamic chassis control. So if you think of it like that, if you're getting a fully loaded GTI versus an R, I personally would probably pay the price difference to get the R. But I don't have like a base model GTI, but if there was a base model GTI around, I'd probably say that for most people, the base GTI is going to offer about 90% of the fun and performance that, you know, VW enthusiasts are looking for, whereas it's going to be a very tiny subset of people who really think that the R is worth the extra price difference. So other than that, I don't really think there's much to say about these two cars. If you're looking for the top of the line, the best of the best, and you can't settle for anything less, then obviously the Golf R is right for you. But if you're going to be just looking for something that you're going to be able to use on a daily basis, offer essentially most of what you expect out of the Golf R, then the GTI might be right for you. Interior wise, they're essentially the same. I can't really see how there's a difference between the two. When I sat in this car, I almost felt like I was getting into the same car, only with the red instead of the blue. And so almost everything looks exactly the same. With the performance pack, you don't get the dual zone climate control. That's something that I think is, it's nice to have, but it's not like a necessity or anything. It's nice when you're feeling hot and someone else is feeling cold that you can kind of adjust that to your liking. But as you can see, this still gets the Fender audio, premium audio system. You're still getting these nice seats that hug you really well when you're taking the corners. And this sunroof, I really do miss it, guys. And I really wish that, you know, the R came with it, but it is what it is. You know, auto headlights, all of the kind of amenities that you expect out of the GTI, you're going to be able to get out of the R, you're going to be able to get with the GTI already. So in conclusion, again, if you guys are just looking for something that's going to allow you to get around town and still offer a lot of performance, and you're not looking to pay, you know, the $40,000 price tag, then I think that a GTI might be a better choice for you guys. Alright, so if you guys have any questions or comments, want to know any more about specific differences between the two cars, just definitely leave a comment below. Like and share this video if you want others to have a better informed decision about whether to get the GTI or the Golf R. test drive both, you know, see what you like better. You're definitely going to tell a difference in power, obviously, with the extra 70 horses and the 30 extra torque. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.